Hello, people of the internet. This is Shaky Jake, and I really need a catchphrase. You're watching Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, where previously we basically started the game and encountered lots of unintentional hilarity with a game that is 17 years old. But it was so fun. And we've just started off with the second part of the game, or what I like to consider the second part of the game, with the Hogwarts grounds, because we spent most of the first part inside Hogwarts itself, and now we've got a bit more freedom again because we did get forced into a scripted sequence to begin this second act. But anyway, we're going to carry on with the rest.
Have you been to Quidditch training yet? This year they're even letting first years train. You should have a go. I hear you're pretty good on a broomstick.
There's literally no evidence of me being good on a broomstick so far. I haven't actually caught the Remembrall or anything yet. But let's go in here, which I believe there's 2 or 3 activities you can do in this area, so we might as well.
Welcome, Mr. Potter. Grab your broomstick and we'll begin the training.
Oh, we didn't come in with our broomstick? Okay.
Welcome to Quidditch training. Whichever seeker catches the golden snitch scores his team 150 points. Which is why seekers tend to get fouled so much. For your first seeker training, let's practice chasing the snitch. Fly through 10 hoops generated by the golden snitch. Get set. 3, 2, 1.
Now this is actually useful because you do have to play Quidditch at certain points in the game, so this is good training for you for later on. So just follow the instructions. This isn't too hard, just make sure you fly through everything. There's no secrets in here, so I've missed that. I hope I can... Yeah, okay, you don't lose anything for missing any rings, so that's fine. Just go through.
Excellent. For that performance, you've earned gold wings and 25 house points for Gryffindor.
Oh, okay, you get different coloured rings depending on your performance. I forgot about that.
Time for your second seeker training lesson. You seem to have the hang of chasing the snitch. Now let's see if you're any good at catching it. Now fly through 20
I caught those
hoops,
butterflies in the last part. I'm very good at catching things.
On my mark, 3, 2, 1...
And again, the snitch catching mechanic is interesting in itself when we get to it. Because the way the Quidditch matches are designed, and I know I should talk about this... Oh, I missed another one, well done. I know I should talk about this more when I actually play the Quidditch side of things, but they're all very much the same kind of deal. So you always have to go through rings, then you have to try and catch the snitch, and that's basically it. That is basically how all the Quidditch matches are devised. And we're going to sort of see this here in a few moments, once we've got all the rings. We are running out of time, but we should be okay. I don't think we're going to have too many problems. There we go. And now here's the snitch catching part, so you have to time this pretty much spot on. So like now, there I was too early, but there I was fine.
Excellent. For that performance, you've earned gold wings and 25 house points to Gryffindor.
Yay! You can get silver wings as well if you don't perform too well.
In a Quidditch match, whichever team seeker catches the golden snitch wins his team 150 points. This often results in that seeker's team winning the match. Now, let's see how you manage catching a snitch while racing against another seeker.
How come he gets cool robes and I don't?
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Bloody Ravenclaw bias. Oh, and you can sort of attack the other seeker, but I've never quite understood how to do it. It doesn't really do anything for you anyway, other than just shifting them a couple of pixels off. And there's no challenge to this either, because I think you can literally miss loads of rings and the seeker doesn't get anywhere closer to the snitch anyway. I'm going to try that theory at some point, but I don't actually know. I assume if you run out of time, then the other seeker just wins. That's my assumption. but this is how the later Quidditch matches work. It's very monotonous. And the other thing as well with the Quidditch matches is, not the Quidditch matches, with this, that's it. You do the 3 activities here, and you can replay them if you didn't get the gold wings. So if you want to get those, you can just come back and redo whatever you don't have, and I will demonstrate that after this. I think you can get bronze rings as well, so it would be gold, silver and bronze rings, which would make sense. And we are destroying this Seeker, so there we go.
Excellent. For that performance, you've earned gold wings and 25 house points for Gryffindor.
Yay!
Run along then, Mr. Potter. The Quidditch training doors are always open for you.
Except for when they're locked. Because that's how this game works. All the doors are open for you, except when they're locked. So if we go back in, which is a bit pointless because we're just going to have nothing happen really, but I'm going to demonstrate it anyway. We get to cycle through.
Welcome back, Mr. Potter. Now let's begin your training.
We get to cycle through all the options that we had last time.
Fly through 10 hoops generated by the golden snitch. Excellent. I see you have been awarded gold wings for this section. Would you like to have another go?
Absolutely not.
Time for your second Seeker training lesson.
I'm going to skip all of this because
now
you've heard it before.
Hoops. Excellent. I see you have been awarded gold wings for this section. Would you like to have another go?
Madam Hooch, I've only just noticed that your body is incredibly rectangular. I've only just realised this. And I love how her mouth is still moving, as if dialogue is still going on. But anyway, no.
In a Quidditch match, whichever team Seeker catches the golden snitch wins his team 150 points. This often results in that Seeker's team winning the match. Now, let's see how you manage catching a snitch while racing against another Seeker. Excellent.
No, I find that last one quite funny actually, because the Seeker's in the air and he's like, oh, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to do a bit of Quidditch training, and then Madam Hooch is like, excellent, you've already done. It's like, what? I thought I was going to play Quidditch. It's like, no, this Harry Potter kid, he knows what he's doing. You just go back to the changing rooms, we're not practicing anymore. So, this part of the game is actually my least favourite part, if only because I've played it so many times compared to the rest of the game after this point, and I'm not a big fan of the outdoors levels in the Harry Potter games as such. Well, I say Harry Potter games. I've only really played this one and The Prisoner of Azkaban. I never actually played any of the others, but I didn't like the outdoor parts of this game. And there's Fred and George again, probably going to give us another side quest.
Want the password for the portrait, Harry? Bring us blue every flavour beans. But watch yourself. There are some weird creatures running around out there.
That's racist. But anyway, we get another side quest here, I believe.
My poor kitten has fallen down the well. I can't reach her. It's very dark down there. Will you help me? If you can find the bottom of the well, you might find her.
I have literally just realised something. Why can't this kid just use Wingardium Leviosa to levitate his cat out of the well? That is a massive plot hole. Surely. I've only just realised this. This game is 17 years old and I've just realised this kid could easily use a spell to get his cat out of the well. Oh, and here's a potion which we can drink. We're not going to do that because our health is fine. Basically, it restores health. But yeah, I can't believe I've only just realised that that kid could easily use magic to get his cat out of the well. But, you know, it's a side quest for us, so that's fine.
I used to have a Puffs game, but Fred and George used it for bludger practice.
Okay, thanks for that, Ron. My life has changed for hearing this information. So,
Puffs games, friendly fellows, but they have a large appetite. Hagrid.
Right, so this guy, which always reminded me a bit of a knockoff Pokemon, what we can do here is make it follow us towards food, which you don't want to stand in this because it does actually hurt you. And for doing this several times, you get blue Bertie Bott's every flavour beans. This is actually really time consuming, and this is another reason why I'm not a big fan of this part of the game, because certain bits can be quite monotonous. And if I remember correctly, this puff skein gets bigger every time it eats things, or certain ones get bigger. There isn't really any consistency. And here, if we can just get it to eat a few more. Fortunately, once it is eating stuff, it usually doesn't leave the general area until it's done all of them. So you don't have to keep like forcing it to follow you or anything. Obviously, if you go too far away, I think it does follow you then. But otherwise, you're pretty much fine. I usually like to wait until it's definitely eating another one before moving on. And I think there's a little bit more around here. Yes. So, hey, follow me. Come on. And you have to be very careful with your movements, because if you run off too far, then it just stops following you. But I'm in a Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone kind of mood today. I don't know why. I mean, I had a break from this for a day just to play other things. And then another day later I decided, you know what, I feel like playing Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So I'm playing it again. So there we go. I don't think there's any more. No, there's not. So the only other thing to show you around here, and is something I never knew about until years later. There's another secret area that you can find, and you'll notice this part of the wall looks completely different to everything else. And it's really noticeable. I'm not quite sure how I never noticed it, but if we press square, we can go through. And I think it's a mini game that we can do here with Nearly Headless Nick. There's a couple of these in the actual game.
Hello, Harry. Try to grab all the Bertie Bott's beans, but mind the bouncing bulbs. If they bump you, you'll lose some of your beans.
If they bump you, lose some of your beans. That sounds like a sanity argument almost. So this is relatively straightforward. You don't have to like do too much here. It's actually, this one's quite easy, and it's certain ones are harder, but oh, that's a nice tune.
Well done, Harry. You collected all the Bertie Bott's beans. You've earned a famous Witches and Wizards card for your troubles.
Yay, thanks, Nearly Headless Nick. I only deal in chocolate frog cards.
Derwent Shimpling.
We're not going to look at the cards anymore, as I said last time, because in the first part I showed all of them off, the ones I picked up. But to do that every single time in the remainder of this game's playtime, it's going to take a very long time to get through. And there will be an opportunity to look at all of the chocolate frog cards later on. So we're not going to do that anymore. So now we can carry on to Hagrid's hut.
There you are. I hope you did well in your herbology class.
I aced it.
Harry, can you fetch me some fire seeds from a rare plant in the forest? The plant lives just beyond the Gargoyle Gate. Been some very strange goings-on of late. Be careful, Harry.
And why can't you get them, Hagrid? Surely with your vast experience you could get these fire seeds yourself, instead of trusting some 11-year-old kid to do it. Okay, whatever. So, we can't go into his hut. It's just a static model that's not dynamic or anything. And oh, I thought there was an invisible wall there, just me clipping on the actual hut. So, one thing I should talk about whilst I'm here is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is, in a number of ways, a knockoff Zelda. And you're probably thinking I'm insane for saying that, and here's Neville.
Out of my way, Harry. There's a huge monster down there.
Oh, I'm sure you're exaggerating, Neville. It can't be that bad. Have you got anything else to say whilst you're running off? Hey. Oh, missed the cue.
Out of my way, Harry. There's a huge monster down there.
Okay, he's just going to keep saying the same thing. Fine. as I was saying, so Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, in a number of ways, is very reminiscent of a knockoff Zelda game. Just nowhere near as good and nowhere near as imaginative. So, you know, it's pretty much a knockoff Zelda, but nowhere near as good. And there are a number of reasons why it's somewhat similar, in the sense of it's sort of RPG-ish. You do a bit of backtracking, you have to do certain things in a specific way, and that's about it really. I am reaching for things, but that's kind of what I mean. And the control scheme is very similar to the original Tomb Raider games. They're both quite tanky.
Hello, Harry. Try to grab all the Bertie Bott's beans, but mind the bouncing bulbs. If they bump you, you'll lose some of your beans.
So we're playing the same game again, just to get another trading card. Trading card? Another chocolate frog card. Although I suppose the chocolate frog cards are... Oh, there you go. I just lost some beans. My sanity's gone down. Oh, my sanity's gone down again. So this one's a little bit harder. Although oh, god damn it. I suppose the chocolate frog cards are very similar to trading cards though in real life.
Well done, Harry. You collected all the Bertie Bott's beans. You've earned a famous Witches and Wizards card for your troubles.
Yay, again. I guess the developers ran out of ideas at certain points, so just repeated the same activity again.
Newt Scamander.
Oh, he's a famous one. We're not going to look at him though. The main character of the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which I've never read, incidentally, and I've not watched the film either. I have a bit of a thing against the Harry Potter films. I haven't watched them since The Half-Blood Prince, and I know there'll be a load of people telling me, oh, the Deathly Hallows is really good as a film, both parts. And I've seen bits of both parts of the Deathly Hallows films, but after the Half-Blood Prince film, I was basically turned off. Oh, hello, there's a card up here. Can I knock that down? I can. Very easy to miss. So, as I was saying, with the films, I might as well go into this.
Hengist of Woodcroft.
Never heard of him. When the Harry Potter films were released, at that time I had read the first 3 Harry Potter books, and I'd read a bit of the 4th one. I wasn't a big fan of the 4th book. Still not, incidentally. I find it to be the most overrated book in the series. But when the films came out, I thought they were good. So the Philosopher's Stone film, a very good adaptation of the first book, with a few minor changes, but it's nothing too bad. Same with the Chamber of Secrets, again, same thing. Oh, and these 2 walls are literally the same area, so if I go back in, you'll see the same area we were just in. The Prisoner of Azkaban film, loved it. It made a lot of changes to how the films looked, but it wasn't too oppressive or anything. It felt right. It didn't feel like it was too forced. There were a couple of areas that are a little bit contradictory with the books, such as Harry performing magic at the beginning of the film whilst he's with the Dursleys, but otherwise it's a pretty good film, and from a director's standpoint it's definitely my favourite one. The Goblet of Fire film is awful. Oh, and here's a boss fight again, which is completely unlike anything in Harry Potter as far as I'm aware. I don't think... Oh, well done me. I don't think this appears in any other media whatsoever. It certainly doesn't appear in the films, and it certainly doesn't appear in the books. It's more stereotypically magic in a way. Like, it's more what somebody else would write for Harry Potter as opposed to what J.K. Rowling would probably write. So you just got to aim for his chest, and he's done. But I think he can actually be unfrozen again if you don't levitate him quick enough. So if you don't use Wingardium Leviosa, then he can come back to life. Although this seems a bit like torture in a way, so I feel sorry for him in a way. So a very quick boss fight. And going back to my discussion on the films, the Goblet of Fire film is absolutely awful. I don't care what anyone says. It's the first problem film in the Harry Potter universe. And whilst I've said the book is overrated, it is still a good book. The film does not indicate that it was a good book, though. The film is awful. It cuts loads of stuff out, and even if you haven't read the book, it's really obvious that stuff was cut, such as the Quidditch World Cup and various other things. And there's also other problems, such as the Dursleys aren't in it, and they're a minor part of the story, I know that, but it felt wrong not seeing them in a film, so that's another thing. And then you've also got some weird design choices in there, and it feels like 3 steps back after the first 3 films. I do like this tune. See, not having music playing all the time and only at certain points in the narrative for this game, that's very reminiscent of the Zelda games and the original Tomb Raider games as well. So with The Goblet of Fire, I hated what that film did. I think it's an awful film, personally. I think it's one of the worst films ever, not just Harry Potter films, but just a terrible film in general. And I thought that even when I saw it at the cinema at the time. And I can't remember how old I was when it came out, but I was definitely a teenager by that point, or very close to becoming a teenager if I wasn't already, and I hated it. Still do. And then the Order of the Phoenix film came out. Yeah, we just got to get this Puffskein here, and it makes this easier to access. Let me just check if there's anything else down here before I go up. The Order of the Phoenix film, on the other hand, I actually quite liked. It wasn't too bad, but it was completely different from the book. The book was a lot more depressing to read than the film was to watch. And I can take either or. To be honest, I think naturally the book is better, but it's far too long for what it is. But then there's no excuse for why the Order of the Phoenix is as condensed as it is as a film. And then the Half-Blood Prince came out. And that was when I realised I hate David Yates as a director. I think he is absolutely awful as a director. He's done quite a few films, incidentally. He's done quite a bit, but I hate his style. And that's just a personal thing. I think he's not a very good director whatsoever. I think he hasn't got what I would like to see for the Harry Potter universe on film. And I hate his style. Like, he literally just took all the colour out of the Harry Potter universe. Although that was kind of being done with Prisoner of Azkaban and Goblet of Fire anyway. But I just hated what David Yates did to the Harry Potter films. And yes, I know it makes more sense for the tone of the later books, because the later books are genuinely much darker than the first few. But it doesn't sit right with me. And then Fantastic Beasts came out, and I still haven't seen the Fantastic Beasts film. I refuse to watch it for a number of reasons. And it's because of David Yates. And I was hoping that when that project was announced, I was hoping that Warner Brothers were going to offer somebody else the opportunity to direct a Harry Potter universe style film. And I'm trying to remember how to... Oh yeah, I've got to wait this getting up. I was hoping that when the Fantastic Beasts film happened, that it would be an opportunity for somebody else to direct a film in the Harry Potter universe. And Warner Brothers didn't take that opportunity. They just said to David Yates, or offered David Yates the opportunity to direct again. Naturally, he said yes, and we've got more David Yates films. So, at that point, I just said, no, I don't want to watch it. So I still haven't seen the Fantastic Beasts films. And they might be better because, you know, they're expanding on a lesser-known book. But either way, I just don't want to see them. And maybe one day I will, but for now, I don't want to watch the Fantastic Beasts films. The only other film I can think of that David Yates has done in modern times, as in most recently, he did an adaptation of Tarzan. And Tarzan's one of my favourite novels, actually. It's very dated, but the actual novel itself is pretty good. But nobody's actually been able to make a good Tarzan adaptation apart from a select few. And you think Tarzan would be a relatively easy book to adapt, but for some reason everyone just screws it up. This is a good song as well. I like this theme. Although I question why there's lava running through Hogwarts. You'd think Dumbledore would put up some signs saying do not go anywhere near this, but apparently not. You know, Harry just decides, yeah, I'm going to cross this with no problems whatsoever. These platforms that explode after a few seconds, this is very reminiscent of Croc. Again, a game that Argonaut Games also developed, because that game had a lot of these from what I remember. But yeah, with Tarzan, as I said, nobody's been able to make a good adaptation of Tarzan apart from a select few people. And David Yates, from what I can tell with his Tarzan adaptation, again I haven't seen it and I don't want to, but it's just his usual style of let's completely rip all the colour out of the film and completely misunderstand what Tarzan's about and make some weird design choices that don't even make sense within the context of the story that Tarzan's meant to be. So, yeah. I can't remember what other films he's done because I haven't looked at his filmography lately, and I'm screwing up because I'm talking. Let me just concentrate. I haven't looked at his filmography lately, so I can't remember what else he's done, but those are the films that come to mind. So the only 3 Harry Potter films that I like are the first 3. I don't like the Goblet of Fire film. The Order of the Phoenix is okay. The Half-Blood Prince is absolutely awful, to the point where I felt insulted that I was watching it. I flipped between whether The Goblet of Fire or The Half-Blood Prince is the worst Harry Potter film. And The Deathly Hallows, whilst it looks like an improvement over The Half-Blood Prince, I still haven't seen them all the way through, both parts. I still haven't seen either of them from start to finish. Only select bits. And I know a lot of people rip into the quality of The Philosopher's Stone and The Chamber of Secrets as films, and they are very childish. I will acknowledge that they are childish, and they do stand out quite badly compared to how the films ended up. But I do like the style that Chris Columbus had for those films. You know, the director of such films like Mrs. Doubtfire and Home Alone and Home Alone 2, some of my favourite films ever made. And his style worked for the first 2 Harry Potter books. I don't think he would have done well after The Chamber of Secrets, but I did genuinely like what he did. And the books and the films were pretty close to each other in terms of what was happening. And there wasn't too much cut. And I know that's a bit of an unfair comparison because they are the 2 shortest books in the series, but you get my point. The Prisoner of Azkaban had my favourite direction. It had my favourite style, as in it was dark, but it wasn't too dark. It still had some colour to it. Whereas if you look at any David Yates film later on, what's colour? He seems to be a director who doesn't like colour. When it came to The Prisoner of Azkaban, it got everything pretty much spot on in terms of style and content. And I'm just trying to remember who directed The Prisoner of Azkaban. Famous director. He's got a name that I can't pronounce, I know that. I can't remember his name. Hold on. Whilst I'm waiting to see who it is, I will get back to Hagrid instead of leaving it on dead air. Get a chocolate frog on the way back.
Well done, Harry. You've found the fire seeds. Now I can show you what I need 'em for, but it's our secret, mind you. Come on inside, Harry. Wipe your feet now.
So yeah, this
Welcome
bit
to my
is
home,
completely
Harry.
out of order.
It's small, but still roomier than your cupboard under the stairs, eh?
Too soon,
I got this
Hagrid.
from a
Too
man in
soon.
the Hog's Head pub. It's a dragon egg. I need some fire seeds to give it that last burst of heat to force it to hatch. Go ahead and put them in the fire, Harry.
God, Hagrid just wants me to do everything.
You've done it, Harry. It's hatching. Up you come, me beauty. Ain't he lovely? I'll call him Norbert. He's a Norwegian ridgeback, you know. Harry, you're a true friend. I want you to have this book, Quidditch Through the Ages.
Cheers, Hagrid. Just for getting you some fire seeds. That's generous.
I'd better give Norbert his first feed soon. I'll see you later, Harry. Thanks again.
So yeah, this part of the narrative happens a lot earlier than the book and the film. I'm not quite sure why the narrative was changed so much, but that's just how this game likes to operate for some reason. So yeah, the director of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Alfonso Cuarón, I think, or Cuarón. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce his surname, but he was excellent with directing the Prisoner of Azkaban film. And I'm a bit biased because The Prisoner of Azkaban is my favourite Harry Potter book, always will be. But the film was a pretty good adaptation of it. It lies somewhere in between the quality of the first two and then all the later ones, which I tried to pretend didn't happen, film-wise. The books themselves are fine. Just the films aren't that good. I personally don't think the films are that good. And what else is there? Oh yeah, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Don't get me started on that. Oh shit. I can't remember. I don't think I pre-ordered it. No, I didn't. I went up to my nearest Waterstones the day it was released. Not at midnight, mind you, because I don't do midnight launches for books and games or anything. I've done it for films when they're released at the cinema, but I don't do it for anything else particularly. And when the Cursed Child was released, I went to my nearest Waterstones and I got a copy, and I didn't have to wait in a queue for too long because I was very early, because it wasn't a midnight opening. I think it was 9 or 10 in the morning, and I got it. I read it the same day, and as I was reading it, I realised it was utter shit. I've still got it, but it's utter shit. I hate it. It's the worst book ever.
Come on me, Harry. You'll never guess what I've found.
Okay, maybe not the worst book ever, but it's definitely the worst Harry Potter book ever, and I refuse to believe it's canon. I like to pretend it's... I don't know. It's a fanfic. It's nothing more than a fanfic. Now, if I saw the stage play, I imagine it'd be a lot better, because it's designed to be a stage play.
Hello, Harry. Try to grab all the Bertie Bott's beans.
Oh, this again.
But mind the bouncing bulbs. If they bump you, you'll lose some of your beans.
But yeah, The Cursed Child is absolutely awful, and it's nothing more than a glorified fanfic that J.K. Rowling authorised. And the commission of that script, to me at least, made J.K. Rowling a lot more unlikable to me as a person. As a creative person, not necessarily as a person. But there are certain instances where I think she toes the line nowadays. And... ooh, I almost got hit there.
Well done, Harry. You collected all the Bertie Bott's beans. You've earned a famous Witches and Wizards card for your troubles.
Imagine if nearly Headless Nick just gave us the exact same card again, just to troll us. Because I'm surprised he hasn't done that yet.
Morgan Le Fay.
That's related to Merlin, isn't it, I think? Maybe I'm just remembering the Merlin TV show. But when it came to The Cursed Child, there's a lot of things about that book that made me question J.K. Rowling, to the point where Star Wars fans question George Lucas. And the Cursed Child had some really weird design choices that I'm surprised J.K. Rowling authorised and allowed, because they're terrible design choices.
This is the entrance to the Quidditch pitch, but first years like us aren't allowed to play. I hear they make exceptions sometimes though, but only if you are very, very good. Here comes Neville. He looks quite upset. Best go and see what he wants.
Malfoy stole my Remember-All. He ran off onto the school grounds with it. I need the Remember-All to find my Toad. Please help me. Come on, I'll show you where he went.
Wait, I don't get an offer to decline? Can I just say no? No? Apparently not. So we've got another semi-boss fight to do.
So Longbottom has gone snivelling to you, and you
Yep.
want me to give you his precious Remember-All?
Yep.
I think I'll leave it somewhere for Longbottom to collect. How about up a tree? Think you can catch me? Come on then, Potter. And you better watch out for my bludgers.
Oh, not your super fireworks now. Okay. So, this is very easy. All you have to do, when you're not crashing into walls like I'm doing, all you have to do is just bash Malfoy a couple of times. Relatively straightforward. The game even tells you when to press square, in case it... I'm assuming the game just doesn't trust you to do anything, because it's designed to be people's first game. So, you know, it's taking the mick a little bit, because I don't need that prompt, to be honest. But anyway, we'll chase Malfoy down, bash him a few times, get Neville's Remember-All back. And this bit's actually been adapted for the game quite well. Even though it's been radically changed from how it's set up in the books and the films, I don't mind this change in the game. It actually makes more sense, having a proper chase.
Damaged my broomstick, Potter!
You're lucky I didn't damage your face.
Take this stupid thing. I've no use for it.
Then why did you nick it? You prat. Yay, we got the Remember-All. Do we get to join the Quidditch team now? That's a very Zelda-esque moment there. Just realised.
You've got my Remember-All back. Thanks, Harry. I'll be able to find my Toad now.
Oh, it turns out he was in my pocket the entire time. Imagine if he says that.
I remember now. I left Trevor near the herbology class. There are plants there that eat toads.
Mr. Potter, I'm Professor McGonagall, Deputy Headmistress of Hogwarts and Head of Gryffindor House. Although I do not approve of your chasing Malfoy about, I'll admit you have remarkable talent on a broomstick. Ordinarily, first-year students may not compete in Quidditch. In your case, we might overlook that rule. Hurry along to the Quidditch pitch. Your first match against Hufflepuff is about to start.
Oh yeah, and all the Quidditch matches are completely different in this universe. So Hufflepuff were the first house we went against instead of Slytherin. I say we. Gryffindor went against Slytherin in the book and the film.
Quidditch, and as a Seeker too. I just wanted to wish you good luck, Harry.
Thank you.
Everyone's talking about you becoming a Seeker, Harry. Why, you're the youngest Seeker at Hogwarts in a century.
As soon as I heard, I rushed down from my hat to give you big congratulations. I know you'll catch the snitch first. I just know it.
Oh yeah, but that's because everybody else in this school is utter crap. So yeah, my violent tendencies on a broomstick got me into the Quidditch team, which is nice to see.
Welcome to Quidditch! I'm your commentator, Lee Jordan! The Quidditch pitch has 3 goals at each end. The chasers throw the quaffle and try to put it through the hoops to score. Watch out for the bludgers. These are charm balls that can knock you off your broomstick. 2 meters of each team try to keep them away. Gryffindor's
What are you telling the audience that?
Harry Potter! It's his job to find and catch the golden snitch. Remember, when the snitch appears, it releases speed rings that will help the seeker fly faster.
Bloody hell, Ron. Your neck got a bit square there.
Potter!
And here's the Quidditch match. They're all the same, pretty much. Once you've played one, you've played them all.
A glint of gold! Is that the snitch? Potter's seen the snitch?
And this cutscene happens every single time you have a Quidditch match as well.
Yeah! Potter's moving in for the kill.
This is the least exciting Quidditch match I have ever been to. And it's really easy. In fact, it's easier than the Quidditch training. Don't even worry about the bludgers. Even if they hit you, it's very unlikely they will.
Excellent!
Although I wonder if it's possible to die in the Quidditch matches from the bludgers. Oh yeah, and everyone always boos the opposing seeker because everybody loves Harry Potter in this version of the story, apparently. If you're anybody who isn't Harry Potter, you're an automatic dick. Because again, this game only has 9 students. And I've worked it out. It is definitely 9 students. You've got Harry, Ron, Hermione, that's 3. You've got Neville, which is 4. Fred and George, which is 6. And then you've got Malfoy, Crabbe and Goyle. And if you include Lee Jordan, that's 10, but I don't count him. Because he doesn't appear as an actual character from what I remember. So yeah, there's literally 9 students, possibly 10. And if you're Harry Potter, then you have an absolutely fantastic life and the whole world revolves around you. If you're anybody else, well, you suck in comparison.
Potter's going for it!
Oh, I timed that too early. There we go.
Perfect catch!
You can catch it straight away, to be honest.
Gryffindor.
Yay, we won. Well done, Harry. Doesn't even credit the rest of the Gryffindor team. Wait, isn't that Lee Jordan in the audience? I think it is, yeah. So yeah, no broomstick shenanigans here. So nobody set the broom on fire. My Nimbus 2000, we're absolutely fine. Again, the way this game plays with the narrative is very strange.
Well now, if it isn't the notorious Mr. Potter.
Look at that swaggy walk as I left.
Remember my name, it's Professor Snape. And I know all about you, boy. Is that a library book in your grimy little hand? Library books, by definition, are not to be taken from the library.
But that's how libraries work.
That, thank you.
That was a gift from Hagrid. Give it back.
As soon as my missing sloth brain is recovered, we'll start the first potions lesson.
Are you still whinging about that? Alter your lesson plans. If you can't find it. Imagine if this just says detention on it.
Hey, it's a piece of a map. Hold on. This is Fred and George's handiwork. The map shows there is a forgotten area around here. I wonder if it could be behind that old rusty door.
Is that map meant to be in the Marauders map 2 books early?
The map says there is a magic word to open the door. Well, here goes. Alohomora.
Alaha what? I thought it was Alohomora.
Look, I've opened that rusty door. Come on, let's see where it leads.
I love how we're forced into this. Like, we never get a choice. We always have to do what everybody else says. Harry doesn't have any free will, apparently.
Wow, I bet this is where my brothers live in the sloth brain that Snape's after. Let's split up and have a look about.
Wait, why are we helping Snape? That doesn't make any sense. Why are we helping Snape to basically teach us? Isn't that his responsibility? What's around here?
Venomous tentacular. Beware. Hagrid.
Okay. So, I think this splits off into a number of different paths. And I will double check that in a moment. Just see what Ron has to say.
Hey, here's some puffer pods. They're great fun to throw about. I hear they make trolls sneeze too.
Okay, that's a bit of foreshadowing for later on.
Pufferpod patch. Good fun to throw around. Hagrid.
And here, Hawklump patch. I can't remember what that is. Now I'm trying to remember if there's a secret area here. Because if there is, this will be the only opportunity, I believe, to get a chocolate frog card or anything. And that's the reason, talking of the chocolate frog cards, you can only get 100% if you get all the chocolate frog cards. That's reasonable. Same with the Bertie Blotts, every flavour beans. You can only get 100% if you do all the side quests. It's literally easy to do everything apart from get all the chocolate frogs. Or chocolate frog cards, not the chocolate frogs.
Incendio!
And I think the most I've usually got is about 14 or 15 out of 17. But I can never get all of them. And to this day I have still never got all of the cards. I'm not promising to do it here because I don't think I will. But if you get everything, if you get 100% by the end of the game, you get to play a Quidditch match against Slytherin. That's literally all you get. You don't get anything else for that. If you don't get 100% before the game ends, then you just don't play Slytherin in the Quidditch match. It's a very weird design choice why that was a thing, but whatever. Because the game just ends anyway once you've beaten it. It doesn't allow you to explore Hogwarts or anything. It's not that open world. It's not a very big open world game, so it doesn't allow you the option to carry on playing once you're done. What's Ron doing? Why are you running around like a weirdo? Oi! Oi! Come back. What are you doing? What are you actually doing? Oh, whatever. So, we can pick these up automatically, and then we can throw them. And then we get flower power for the win. Let's go through the door. I literally can't tell if there's a secret area around here. I'm just going to double check because I can't think if there is one. Because again, this might be the only opportunity I can get stuff if I miss it.
Wingardium Leviosa!
You don't have to do what I'm doing here, by the way. I'm only doing this just to get a few more Bertie Bott's every flavour beans. So if you hurry up, you can... Oh, I got hurt there. Well done. They get attracted to the beans, so you have to be very quick.
Wingardium Leviosa!
They move you all the way over there. Good. Got that just in time.
Wingardium Leviosa!
Okay, I've missed one. So I'll have to do that again, but we'll come back to you in a moment.
Wingardium Leviosa!
It's annoying how you have to keep tapping X in order to get them off the ground, but it makes sense. Right, let's levitate you one last time.
Wingardium Leviosa!
And yeah, I really can't be bothered to say Wingardium Leviosa with this game. I'll just say levitate just because it's a lot quicker. Imagine if the spell was literally just levitate. Oh, we get some house points for that for some reason. Okay. We got a lot of house points just for that. We got more house points for that than saving those butterflies last time. Okay, here's the sloth brain. Or the sloth brain, whatever. Yay, we found it. And we get a nice little icon to indicate that. And by the looks of it, it doesn't appear to have a secret area anywhere. Nope, can't see anything that indicates a secret. What is this?
Horcrux. Only approach with a Wingardium Leviosa spell. Hagrid.
Oh, we've already done that, so that's not a problem. Yeah, I can't see anything here that indicates a secret area. I will double check though, just to be safe. Oh, hello. Cheers, Hedwig. What have we got now? I'll read it in a moment. I just want to definitely make sure that there's nothing I've missed. Because we are getting close to the end of this part, because once we've finished here, I think we go back to the castle, and then we can start what I consider to be the third act of the game. And whilst we're here, we might as well drink this potion. And there you go. Gives you full health, or a lot of health. I can't remember if it...
Harry, meet me in the dungeons. Your friend, Hermione.
Yep, okay, so this is the start of Act 3, basically.
Great! You found the sloth brain. Let's get back to Hogwarts.
And luckily for us, we don't have to do all that, so it just will automatically teleport us there.
The race for the House Cup continues.
How many days have we been at Hogwarts thinking about it? 1, 2?
Ravenclaw.
Because we've got like months worth of events literally condensed into about a day, to be honest, or 2 days. There's no sense of time in this game.
Slytherin.
Ooh, they got a lot of points.
Gryffindor.
Who's winning? I can't tell. I think we are, though.
Gryffindor
Yes.
are in the lead on house points. The race for the House Cup is heating up.
Yeah, that's normally what happens when you have a score system like that, Dumbledore. I think if you go back in the Great Hall, the game does actually remember how many points each house has, so you can actually see it in real time, which is quite cool. Okay, so Ron's going to go to the dungeons. And yeah, this broom cupboard is still unlocked. It's still locked, rather, not unlocked. Whilst we're here, we might as well just check the Great Hall just to see if that theory is correct. See if the house points are retained. And they are, which is quite nice. It's a nice bit of attention to detail there. And I've only just noticed as well that underneath each of them there's different things hanging off. So for Gryffindor there's the sun, or what looks like the sun, a beehive for Slytherin, whatever that's meant to be for Hufflepuff, and then Ravenclaw has a yin-yang peace symbol type deal. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there for now, because if we go into the dungeons that will kickstart the third act, and I don't want to do that just now because I want to save that for the next part. But it's been fun playing this again, so not quite as jokey as I was last time, because frankly there wasn't as much to really take the mick out of, but I'm sure that more things will come up as we carry on playing. So let me just see if I can find a save option anywhere, because that would be nice. I would like to save my game at some point. We've already been in the Great Foyer, so we don't have to worry about that. I suppose what I should have done is gone back outside of Hogwarts and just saved there. Oh, let's just go in the common room and save there.
Caput Draconis.
Because I'm sure there's a save book there. There is. Cool. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.